Aristotle. Okay? So we will be able to answer who man is when we look at the metaphysics of Aristotle. Everything starts with metaphysics actually. Okay? Or a view on reality. View on reality. So let's start with being. Being is the word that refers to everything that is. Meaning, everything that has an existence is being. Okay? Everything that is. Ano ba yung everything that is? Ano ba yung masasabi natin na being? Okay? There are different degrees of perfection in being. And here we can also categorize being. So let's look at being in intellectum, being in intellectum, being in re, and then being in re et intellectum. Now, these are Latin words, okay? Meron daw being that resides only in the mind. Okay? Only in the mind. Examples of that being is things in your fantasy. Superman. All of us have an idea of Superman. It is a being, but it is only in the mind. We do not see a Superman flying flying over the sky. Okay? Or a manananggal. Okay? Those are being in the mind only. There is no counterpart in reality. All right? Being only in the mind, in intellectum. And this is the lowest form of perfection. Okay? Lowest. Because these are merely phantasms. Okay? Then, there are being in real. And then, these real beings can be physical, beings made up of matter, can also be spiritual. It can also be spiritual beings, and it can also be some kind of idea. Okay, an idea. All right. So an idea is also a being, and they are real in spite of being just an idea. And what are those ideas that we can say real in spite of the non physical nature of it? Okay, but they are real. The idea about love, the idea of justice, okay, of fairness, okay, of nothingness, even the idea of nothing, okay, and the idea of existence. So even nothingness is being, because it is a correct idea that there is nothing. Okay? There is an idea of nothingness. Okay? So those are ideas. Spiritual, because even if they are non-material, they are also being It's just that they are not material. And actually, beings that are non-material are supposedly categorized as beings that are higher than physical or material beings. All right. So makikita na natin dito, no? However, why is it only in the medium level of perfection? Okay, ito lowest, no? This one is medium level of perfection because we are only saying in re, meaning to say we are not aware. Like for example, there is a giant, very nice pearl at the bottom of the Indian Ocean. Okay, at the bottom of the Indian Ocean, there exists a giant pearl. But it does not exist in anybody's mind. But it is real. Okay? So, wala pa nakaka-discover. So, it is medium imperfection because it is there, but no one knows that it's there. Dito, papasok ngayon tayo sa highest form of perfection of being, and that is both in the mind, both in reality, and in the mind. So, alam mo, kinikilala mo, you recognize it in your mind, and it is actually real. Okay? It is actually real. So, ito yung masasabi natin na the degrees of perfection in being. In intellectum, in re, at in intellectum. At in, yan, intellectum. Both in the reality and in the mind. Okay, let me just erase this. This is a general discussion in metaphysics. We have already perfected this metaphysics. It came from generally we can say that this idea was Aristotelian, but it was refined by Thomas Aquinas. Okay. Now, what is a being? What makes up a being? Sabi ni Aristotle, a being is a substance. Okay? We can call a being a substance. And a substance is composed of both matter, okay, plus its form. Matter plus the form of the substance. Okay? So, ano ang mas mahalaga dito? Wala. Walang mas mahalaga dyan. Dito sa dalawang ito. Pareho itong mahalaga because there will be no substance without matter and without form. Okay? There will be no substance without matter, without form. So what is the form? The form is the thing that specifies. The thing that specifies na lang, okay? That specifies. All right? So that demands what shape the substance must take form, okay? That specifies the material, that specifies the 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 form that it will take, whether it will just be an idea or a concept or something spiritual. Some paki mute yung microphone. Microphones, please. Okay. Ayun. So it specifies, for example, for man, the form of man, okay, the form of man specifies that its matter should be of flesh and blood and skeleton, and that the form of man should be of composed of head, of torso, of limbs, that the matter of man should be composed of intelligence, that the form of man should be able to walk and talk and etc. etc. Okay? So ito yung form yung nagdi-dictate sa pagiging tao. Now, the matter is actually the material that it would take shape. Now, yung material na to, hindi ibig sabihin itong matter na to, hindi ibig sabihin yung matter as in matter na something that occupies space and has weight. It can be the matter of an idea, okay? What an idea is. So what is the whatever is the composition of an idea, yun yung matter. Or whatever is the composition of a spirit, that will be the matter of that particular substance. Okay? So the form dictates the matter, whatever it should possess in itself. Okay? And then the combination of this, the specification plus the shape and appearance, if there is an appearance, or the manifestation, if there is a manifestation, okay, shall be the one complete substance. One complete substance. Okay? Bakit kinakailangan kasama yung one? Because there is unity. Okay? There is completeness. So tandaan ninyo, matter plus form is equals to ICS or 1CS. 1CS, pero mas madali sabihin ICS. Okay? One complete substance. I hope you can follow. Hindi ito kasing dali ng ng metaphysics kasi ni Plato saka ni Socrates eh. Medyo talagang nag-advance yung thinking ni Socrates, ni Aristotle. Okay? Now, before we proceed with the other discussions regarding the metaphysics of Aristotle, let me just point out a few things. Maraming mga cost dito and changes, no? Merong material cost, merong intentional cost, etc., etc. Marami yan. Pero dito lang tayo, hindi ko na kayo guguluhin doon. Meron tayong tinatawag na accidents, okay? Accidents. Which is not necessary for man to be called a man or for a being to be called that particular being. So let's take, for example, man. The matter and form of man does not include accidents. They are there, pero kahit mawala yung accidents, ay tao pa rin yan. Okay? So, ang accidents na tinutukoy natin dito, hindi ito yung aksidente na disgrasya, hindi. We are talking about here other things that even if it changes, man would still be there. Man is still one complete substance. Like, for example, the thickness of hair. Kahit makalbo na siya pa din yun. Okay? So, the hair is merely an accident. it does not define the person. It does not define the being of the person. The color of the skin is another accident. Okay? The height and weight are accidents. It does not diminish, it does not increase the personhood, the being of the person. Okay? So those are accidents. So when we say accidents, these are attributes that we can say inheres to the matter and form of the person of this substance, but it is not something that would diminish or remove the personhood of the person. So ang tawag doon ay accidents. Okay? Now, there is also what we call accidental change. At yun ang nangyayari, no? Accidental change. Kapag ka nawala yung hair, that is an accidental change. O kaya kapag ka nasunog ang balat mo, that is an accidental change. It does not diminish the being of being a person. Okay? Kapag ka maliit ka pat lumaki ka na, that is also accidental change. Hindi less of a person yung maliit, okay, yung bata at yung matanda. Parehong person yon, okay? So, yun ang tinatawag nating accidental change. But there is one change that will really change the substance and will take another matter and form. And what is that? Okay? This is, probably you guessed it correctly, substantial change. What is a substantial change? Okay? Everything has been changed. When this person dies, okay? Okay? When this person is dead, nagkaroon na ng substantial change. Bakit? Because you can no longer call a dead person, a dead one, a person. Ang tawag na natin doon ay cadaver. Okay? Or kaya remains of the person. The remains of the person. Okay? Remains. Now, a cadaver, or a dead person, or the remains of a person have its own unique matter and form. Okay? It does not, the form of the dead or the remains, the form of the dead does not specify life. It does not specify capability of movement. Although the matter may still be the same, flesh and blood and bones, but it does not specify, the form will no longer specify that it should be alive, that it should be able to talk, that it should be able to move. So, a substantial change happened. Okay? And you know that once a person is dead, changes will keep on happening. There will be gradual changes that leads to ultimate decay. Okay? And that ultimate decay will become another substance, and that is soil. Okay? You return to the soil, and the soil is another substance with its own matter and form. Okay? But when the soil gave birth to another life, a plant, okay? A plant, then another substantial change happened, that the nutrients from the soil supported a new life, a plant. That's another substantial change. All right. Now, this is applicable not only to human persons, but it is applicable to almost all beings, but not all. Okay? Saan ito hindi applicable? Yung substantial change. What do you think? What do you think? Hindi applicable ang substantial change. God. Okay? God is pure spirit. And perfect. Perfect. Once a thing is perfect, once a being is perfect, there is no need for change. Okay? Change is not compatible with perfect. Perfect na nga, i-change mo pa. So, God in this sense is static. In this understanding, God is static. He doesn't change. Okay? So the substantial change does not, and even accidental changes, does not apply to God. Okay? It does not apply to God. God is unmovable. The unmoved mover. Bakit sir, pwede nating baguhin ang isip ng Diyos kapag nagdadasal tayo? Bakit si Abraham, nabago niya yung isip ng Diyos nung pinilit niyang baguhin ang isip ng Diyos noong gugunawin niya ang Sodom at Gomorrah? Okay? That's another thing, no? That's another thing, and I can also explain that. That in the perfection of God, all the possible changes are already present in the static God, in the perfection of God. Okay? So all the possible changes are already contained in that one moment in eternity. Okay? There is no time in God, remember. So the past, the present, the future are all accessible to God in any particular moment in our time. For God, our past, present, and future are all present in Him. Okay? Now, I hope I am not confusing you. So, mayroong being that is not, what I'm just trying to say, there are beings, or there is a being that is not subject to change. But how about others? Okay? There are other beings too, like the concept, okay, the non-material and non-spiritual, but simply concepts or ideas, they are also being, like the concept of justice, okay, of love, of fairness, truth. These are unchanging. These are unchanging. So it doesn't go through, these things doesn't go through substantial change. But the rest, we can say that they are going through substantial change. Sir, how about angels? Are di ba sila ay spiritual beings? Angels. I have been mulling about this question about angels, if they went through substantial change. And yes, they are spiritual beings. I've been thinking, meron ba talagang substantial change na nangyari sa angels? O accidental change? What do you think? Kasi, when some of the angels rebelled against God, and a significant number of them became demons, did they lose their being as angels? Okay, their being as angels. And according to my studies and the way I look at it, hindi eh. They still have the spirituality of an angel. Okay? they still have the immortality of an angel. So what changed? What changed? But something changed, diba? Something changed there. Now, I hope you are thinking along with me. This is how I teach philosophy. I hope you are thinking along with me. What changed with these angels who became demons? Okay? Is it a substantial change? I am afraid it is. Hindi natin pwede sabihin accidental change lang eh. Kasi from angels, naging demons sila. But the qualities, okay, the qualities, the potentials of an angel and demons, they are the same. Okay? So how did it change? How did it change? Okay? And the answer probably lies here in the form. Okay? The form of an angel specifies goodness. Okay? As against the form of the demon, which specifies evil. Do you understand? Okay, yung pagiging spiritual, yun yung matter. Okay? And that's the reason why the power and the appearance of an angel or of a demon may still be the same. Comics at movies lang natin nakikita yung demonyo ay mukhang demonyo. Maitim at may nakakatakot, kahila-hilakbot ang itsura. But it does not necessarily follow na ganun ang itsura nila. They may be still as beautiful as their former angel selves. Okay? Ang nabago yung form. Maaaring hindi nabago yung matter. Because angels and demons are both spirits. And ang specification ng form lang ang nabago dito. Okay? At dahil nabago yung form, babawiin ko na yung sinabi ko kanina na hindi substantial change, kundi accidental change lang. Substantial change ang nangyari. Dahil one of the most important component of a substance has been changed. Okay, yung form. So the substance, nagbago din. So angels and demons now are two different substance. Although they may be same in appearance. Okay? Kaya wag kayong paloloko sa mga magaganda at mga gwapo. Maaaring demonyo yan. Itidemonyohin ka ba ng demonyo kapag maniniwala ka ba sa sasabihin ng demonyo? Kung magpapakita siya sa iyo na may buntot at may sungay. Siyempre, ang automatic reaction mo dyan, get away from me, Satan. Okay? Kaya yung mga tukso ng demonyo, tandaan niyo, mga tukso ng demonyo, kadalasan ang tukso nila, it appears to be good. Mabuti para sa iyo yan. Okay, papakinabangan yan ng mga mahihirap. Papakinabangan yan ng pamilya mo. Kung makakapasa ka, ay hindi na kayo maghihirap. Kaya sige lang, mangopya ka. Okay lang yun. Kasi maganda naman ng kahihinatnan. Sige lang, mandaya ka. Ganun ang demonyo. Ipinapakita sa iyo na maganda. Okay. That it is also a good option. It may not appear to be conventional, but it is a good option. Ganon magpakita ang demonyo. Okay? Hindi sasabihin sa iyo ng demonyo na masama yan. Okay, di ba? Sasabihin sa iyo ng demonyo, maganda rin yan. Mas madali nga eh. Okay? Ba tayo napunta doon. Kasi very rich ang idea ni Aristotle tungkol dito. And actually, the idea of a one complete substance as composed of matter and form it can actually almost explain everything. It can almost explain everything. Katulad ng ginagawa natin ngayon. So, tanong, Sir, tao pa ba yung comatose? Okay. O yung vegetable na, tao pa rin ba yan? Sige nga, pag-isipan nyo. Okay, pag-isipan nyo. Magandang itanong yun sa essay. Sir, ano nangyari sa kaluluwa ng tao na comatose? Yung bang 5 years ng comatose o yung 10 years ng comatose, nasa ng kaluluwa nun? Ayan, magandang tanong yan. Magandang itanong sa exam. Pag-isipan nyo. Okay? Ganyan ang philosophy. Nag-iisip. Hindi lahat ay ibinibigay ang answer into from a silver na nakalagay sa isang silver platter. I am not the one to spoon feed you guys. Okay? So, with these things in mind, what is man? Ayan, punta na tayo. The definition of man according to Aristotle. If man is a being, then man is a substance, one complete substance. And if man is one complete substance, then man is composed of both matter and form. So, what is man? In the traditional definition, okay? What is man? For Aristotle, balik muna tayo pala kay Plato at kay Socrates. Kay Socrates at kay Plato, man is composed of body and soul. So merong dalawang entity nagkasama. Isipin nyo yan ha. Dalawang magkaibang entity, dalawang magkaibang substance pinagsama, pinag-isa. Okay? At yung isa doon ay hindi importante. Yung isa doon istorbo, yun yung katawan. So, hindi siya masyadong mahalaga. Ang mas mahalaga ay yung kaluluwa. So, dalawa ito. One is inferior, the other one is superior. But how about Aristotle? What is man? If we are going to follow the formula of one complete substance is composed of matter and form, then man is both body and soul. Okay? Man is both body and soul. Nakuha nyo? That man is the substance, and this substance, the body is the matter, and the soul is the form. You get it? That man will not be man unless there is body and there is soul. Both are important, equal in importance. Okay? So ito yung pagkakaiba. Na para kay Aristotle, yung katawan, yung kaluluwa, pareho silang mahalaga. Pareho sila ng importance. At isa pa, hindi ito dalawa, kundi ito ay isang one complete substance. So here, the problem of dichotomy, o yung division of two distinct entities that were combined as one, ay nasolve ni Aristotle. Okay? Hindi magkahiwalay ang body and soul. Ito ay isa lang. Okay? And that is one complete substance. You get it? For the other philosophers, dalawang entities to, dalawang substance to, nag-combine, naging tao. Okay? So, medyo in a way problematic to. Problematic. But with Aristotle, he solved the problem of two beings inhering in one, becoming one. Hindi. Basta body and soul lang. Body and soul, yun ang tao. Okay? The soul, okay, specifies what the body must do and what the body must be, be shaped. Okay? Kung ano talaga ang maging korte nito at ano ang distinction nito bilang isang tao. All right. Now, going further. So maliwanag na tayo dito ha. I hope this is clear with everybody. Okay? Kaya ito ay binigyan ko ng separate discussion eh. Okay? Because I want this to be clear to everyone. Now, let's talk about the soul. Hindi ko palalalimin ito muna ha. Papalalimin ko ito pagdating kay Saint Thomas Aquinas. But for now, let us talk about the soul. Sabi ni Aristotle, all living substance, okay? All living substance have a soul as the principle of life. Okay? Soul is the principle of life. Again, this soul as the principle of life specifies the kind of action, the kind of form, or the kind of shape, and the kind of material this life form must take shape. All right? So, if we are going to talk about all living things as having a soul, then let's look at plants. Plants. According to Aristotle, plants have vegetative soul. Plants have a vegetative soul. The vegetative soul is the concern, okay? The thing that the vegetative soul dictates to the living being or to the living organism is growth and nourishment. Simply that, growth and nourishment. So it takes nourishment from the soil, from the ground, and it grows, and it bears fruit. That's the work of the vegetative soul. So, kapag kinain mo na yung broccoli, okay, yung broccoli, together with the soul, is dead. Patay na. Because the soul doesn't have a life to give anymore to the plant broccoli. As the principle of life, pagka namatay yung substance, wala na. Okay? Patay na din yung soul. So walang kaluluwa ng kamote na magmumulto sa iyo kapag kumain ka ng kamote. Okay? Because the soul dies together with the organism. How about animals? Okay, animals. Anong soul ng animals? Di ba ang animals, they also grow and nourish? And so, they also possess vegetative soul. But in addition to the vegetative soul, they are also in possession of, what do you think? Sentient soul. Sentient soul. And what the sentience gives? It gives locomotor abilities. It allows animals to move and sense, okay, and act on instinct. And I think to a certain degree, intelligence, okay, but a different kind of intelligence, this intelligence is non-reflective intelligence. Ano ba sir yung non-reflective intelligence? Okay, mayroong talino pero hindi na pag-iisipan nung hayop yung kanyang talino. In other words, the 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 an animal cannot reflect. Okay? An animal cannot reflect why he is acting that way. Okay? An animal cannot reflect how he came up with an idea. Okay? So this is a low form of intelligence. All right. Now, having two souls, an animal can grow and nourish itself, and an animal can feel pain and they can feel pleasure and enjoy the company of humans, like, for example, your dog, because of their instinct and their limited intelligence. All right? Now, regarding man, by the way, now, pag namatay ba yung animals, the soul of the vegetative soul and the sentient soul lives? I'm sorry to say, your favorite pet, when it dies, together with the soul of, together with the body of the animal, it also dies together with it. Okay? And unfortunately, in the original Aristotelian thought, wala ding sinasabi na immortality of the soul of man. Okay? So, yun ang papaliwanag ko sa inyo dito. Man. Okay? Human. For human, we have, of course, alam nyo na, we also possess vegetative. Mahuhulaan nyo na yun, di ba? And of course, katulad ng mga animals, we can feel, we can sense, and we also have instincts. So we have sentient souls. Plus, there is another soul in us, and that is our rational soul. Sir, di ba meron ng intelligence yung sentient soul? Ano pa rin sa rational soul? Ito na yung capacity to think about what you're thinking, okay? To reflect. It is a higher order thinking, which animals do not possess. Higher order thinking. And this is the principle of life of man. Okay? The principle of life of man. Unfortunately, when man dies, in the Metaphysics of Aristotle, there is nothing there that says that the soul of man continues to live in the death of this substance. And this is where Aristotle has departed so much from his previous teachers, Plato and Socrates, because Plato and Socrates believed in the reality that this world is just a copy of the perfect world, and that when we die and when we die, when we are enlightened and when we die, we are no longer going to be reborn, and that we will be able to go to that world of forms and ideas. Now, as I study Aristotle, I'm not sure if I am right, but in my I think I would be able to say substantial study about Aristotle, there is nothing here to say that man's soul is immortal. Okay? There is nothing here that says man's soul is immortal. All right? So, it will be picked up by a medieval philosopher. This idea. So, ito, pinaliwanag ko ng mabuti. Dadagdagan ko na lang ito sa susunod na module when St. Thomas Aquinas adopted the philosophy of Aristotle and Christianized it. Okay? Christianized it. Made it a Christian philosophy. And in the Christianization of the idea of Aristotle, doon nag-shine. Doon mas lalo naging maliwanag at umalimbukaw ang kagandahan ng filosofiya ni Aristotle. And so I want you to be excited about our next week's discussion regarding regarding how Thomas Aquinas Christianized this idea. Okay? So this concludes our discussion. This concludes our discussion about Aristotle, and there is something something else before I there is something else that I would like to say before we move on, or before I end our discussion here, which unfortunately habang sinasabi ko ay nakalimutan ko. Okay, so I'm sorry about that. Ay nako, sasama to sa recording. Okay. Ito sinasabi kasi dito, no? If you are going to read this part, okay? In Aristotelian philosophy, it is possible that he also believes that man's soul dies together with man's demise. Ayan. Ito yun no? Ito yung sinasabi ko na it appears that there is no afterlife in the philosophy of Aristotle. Yeah. Ito na, naalala ko na. A lot of books, especially in logic, would say that Aristotle's definition of man is this. Okay? That Aristotle's definition of man is man. Okay. Ulit. Kung minsan ayaw sumulat Ayan. Bakit ganun? Nawawala yung okay. Man is a rational animal. Okay. Man is a rational animal, sabi ni Aristotle. Yan daw ang definition ni Aristotle tungkol sa tao. Okay. I beg to differ. And I object. There is nowhere in my readings about Aristotle that we can attribute to Aristotle this definition of man, that man is a rational animal. I think it is false. And if ever there are other authors who said that this is Aristotle's definition of man, hinahanap ko yung kanilang citation kung saan ito sa mga sinulat ni Aristotle makikita. Wala akong nakita. Okay? So they cannot prove that Aristotle said that. The only thing that Aristotle said about man is this. Man is a political animal. Okay? Political animal. Okay? Or a political being. Whether he used the word animal or being. Okay? More likely, ginamit niya ang being. Why? Because in the taxonomy of beings, plants, animals, and man, hiniwalay niya yung man Okay? So plants are being, animals are being, man is a being. Okay? So hindi niya sinabi talaga directly that man is an animal. Rather, his definition of man is a political being. Okay? So if we are going to say that it came from Aristotle, that man is a rational animal, that he is an animal and a higher kind of animal, parang hindi naman yon ang sinabi ni Aristotle. That man is a being in its own, okay? A sui generis, okay? Man is a sui generis other than animals. Okay? He is a class of his own. Okay? And that, my dear students, conclude my lecture about Aristotle. And this also shall conclude my lecture in the entire second module of the subject, Understanding the Self. So your assignments are this. Yung activity dito, yung nakalagay doon sa taas, work on the activity and analysis in your textbook, pages 2 and 3. Wala na yan kasi wala naman kayong textbook. Okay? So just answer this in your own words. State what the self is for each of the following philosophers. So what is the self according to Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle in your own words? And then, after doing so, explain your concept of self, your self-concept, okay? And how is it compatible with how these philosophers conceived of the concept of self, okay? And then, this is for your own good, okay? I want you to please go to this site, rosenfels.org/durant.pdf. Download this PDF file. This PDF file is the entire book of Will Durant, The Story of Philosophy. Now, I am not asking you to read the entire book, pero hindi ko kayo pinipigilan kung gusto nyo basahin, because I am sure that once you start reading it, you will not be able to stop yourself. It is really very beautiful. It is really a very beautiful book. So, study the chapter on Plato. Yun lang yung requirement. Okay? And you will see that Will Durant is a very good writer. Isa sa mga hinahangaan kong writer because he was able to explain very difficult ideas and concepts in a very easy to understand manner. And and also his choice of words, they are really sizzle with light. They are bubbly. They are very colorful. And you will never get tired reading Will Durant. Okay? Actually, one of my dreams was to get to be able to buy an entire set of The History of Civilization by Will Durant. You can no longer buy that new. You can no longer buy a new set. Puro second hand na yun. Luma na yung libro na yun eh. But it is ageless. Kahit luma na siya, it is ageless. And I have read one volume, but there are several volumes. And walang available dito sa Pilipinas. Anyway, that's one of my dreams, to have a copy of that book, of that multi-volume work of Will Durant, the history of civilization. It's really very good and enjoyable reading. But in the meantime, I want you to read and enjoy Will Durant and explain Plato the way he explained Plato in that book. So what you can do is download that PDF. It is free. It is not illegal because that book of Will Durant is already in the public domain. Okay? So public domain, ibig sabihin, you can legally get a copy of the book. You don't have to pay. Pero kung gusto mong magbayad, bumili ka doon sa National Bookstore. Meron doon na in book form talaga if you are having difficulty reading through your device. All right? So let me end our discussion. I am now going to stop sharing. And how are you people? Buhay pa ba kayo?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Di ba kayo nahilo?
Sir. Hindi po. Sir, ako lang naman po, sir.